Good morning. How's everybody's Saturday? So this morning we're switching it up and we're going to go a different direction. We're going to talk about something that you absolutely understand the concept of. You sometimes take it and sometimes don't. You sometimes think it's good and you sometimes think it's bad. And sometimes you pretend like it doesn't exist. Advice. It's a weird word. Advice. Now, has anybody ever looked up the definition of advice? I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let you. It's a little. Just go look it up. Just take 2 seconds. Go look up the definition of advice. I waited long enough. Should have went and looked. Could have paused the video even. So, what is advice? Why is it sometimes good? Why is it sometimes bad? Why do we ignore it sometimes? And sometimes it's so amazing to hear it that we immediately grasp it and embrace it as what we should do. How does this one concept that we share have so much power over how we think? How's that work? How does just the concept of something drive so many people to try to make money certain ways, live their life a certain way, pray a certain way, love a certain way? You ever stop to consider how much of what you know and what you're doing was because someone else told you about it or because you learned it on your own? You ever thought about that? The difference between the two? Anybody? I think there's a huge difference between what you learn on your own and when someone gives you advice on how to do something or how to be a certain way or how to act or talk or anything else. Me, I like reflection. My advice comes in the form of reflection. Here's the only thing or whatever I know about XYZ. These are the life experiences I've had, and this is what I've concluded based on that. And I've used all these self help tools and different ways to look at reality to try to gain an accurate view of that. And this is what I'm reflecting, and please argue with it. And I'm open to all debate. I don't think anything I have on here is advice. I don't think you should follow me. I don't think that other than a basic understanding of concepts between us in the form of words or thought processes, there's no way you can come to the same conclusions I came to because none of us walk the same path in life, period. I think it's important to make a distinction between the two. That I don't have advice for your problems, even. The best I can do is based on my understanding of it, give you my reflection. But I can't tell you what to do. Not without some sense of like egotistical insanity. There's no way. However, I wanted to break it down today because I've already attacked the word advice now, and now you're feeling like you don't understand where I'm headed. And that's the whole point because on this roller coaster, the ride starts at the edge of where the sidewalk ends. I have no interest in the things we've already disagreed on a million times. It doesn't even matter to me remotely. If no one can agree on it, it's not truth. If a whole bunch of people get hurt because of it, it's not truth. If there's a whole bunch of ripple effects in the world that make it fucking negative, it's not truth. It's just your advice. See the difference right there? As soon as I said it like that, you see how you got back on the ride with me real easy? Because the thing is like advice usually comes from people that don't like you. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Most of the advice that you get is 100% biased on their opinion. If someone tells me a story and I can reflect on it however I want and look at it however I want, completely disagree with how they reflected on what happened to them, that was a great debate. But if they say that they went through this, that, and the other thing, and you should definitely only do it this way, or you're going to experience the same shit that they experienced, the only time I take that seriously is when it's mechanical. If there's a mechanical procedure that needs to be accomplished perfectly, so the mechanical properties of whatever you're trying to do work perfectly, and someone else understands how to run the machine or the process perfectly, then you absolutely should learn from them. That advice is sharing knowledge. It's not advice at all. You can't even try to lump it in with advice. You see how advice has been like kind of blanketed over a bunch of different things that have nothing to do with advice at all. Advice is your personal opinion based on your experience into trying to give someone else something to steer with. Left or right, up or down, wrong or right, doesn't matter. But it's you thinking, this is what happens when you give advice. You think that you have walked in so many different pairs of shoes that whoever puts those shoes on after you, you should tell them how to do it. That's advice. This is why no one ever listens to advice. That's why there's so many people that go out of their way to try to tell you how to do things in life. And you look at their life, right? This is the best part. This is how you always know they're full of shit. You look at their life, and they're usually giving you advice on something that not only have they not fixed, but they're currently causing negative things in the world with. Remember, that's how I do my buffer, right? Are you creating or are you destroying? Are you lifting people up or are you tearing them down? Are you pulling bottles and cans off the side of the road or are you throwing cigarette butts on the ground? Like on and on and on and on. Every last aspect. Are you creating or are you destroying? And you can create negativity, but when you create negativity, it just destroys shit. Sliding scale that never fails me. And advice from other people to me is a form of narcissist. You're a fucking narcissist. You're insane. You literally tried to give me advice on relationships, on finances, on anything. You tried to give me advice as you make mistakes in it. And I don't fault you for making mistakes, but you've never gotten to the definition of perfect for that subject. And since you're not in the dictionary as the leading and only expert on that particular thing, you're fallible. Doesn't mean you're bad or you have ill intentions, but you're limited by the scope of your own knowledge. You can't project yourself into somebody else's shoes. You can't. You're not God. Not in that way. You're not every molecule in the universe at the same time looking at each other. You're not two molecules of air staring at each other while you're staring through my eyes, while you're staring through yours, looking into the fucking screen. It doesn't work like that. But we all the time try to give other people advice. You know, I've noticed a lot with advice as well. When it's advice, it causes you chaos. And I think that all lessons are lessons, and you can take them good or bad. You can learn from them, grow from them. They can destroy you. But if the universe has already got a perfect record of giving you all the life experiences you could possibly handle, it's like you're taking on extra credits, like you're doing other people's side quests in their life for their video game. You become an NPC in their video game because their advice they gave you, you never could comprehend what they went through, so you wouldn't even be able to tell that it's bad advice unless you realize that's what it is. Isn't that weird? If you present me information about whatever it is, and you don't tell me how to think about it, if you leave it completely open for debate, if you simply share your experience without the need to corral me into feeling some kind of way or having some extraordinary experience because it was extraordinary to you, good or bad. If any of your intent isn't to try to help, because you can try to help, with advice, but you've already lied and said you were God and you figured out what it was. Like I said, if you're trying to present information, you got to turn the machine on, but you got to oil those 6 joints first, and you got to flip this over one time, and you have to fill that fucking tray. Thank you. That's great. That's the only kind of advice I'll take. That's the only thing that makes sense to me as advice, because it sure sounds like shitty opinion as soon as you get out of the mechanical workings of something. Sure sounds like it to me. It's another way that I see wolves, because how you present information to me tells me everything I know about who you are as a human being, period. And you may not think so. You may not think so. But who you are is how you act and how you talk and what you think about. And the way that you think is all I need to understand on whether or not you have a lack mindset or a full mindset, whether you're an action or a reaction, whether the words and the thoughts that you use to interact with me have to do with trying to share pain or suffering or anything else. Remember what I said, you can't destroy love with love, you just add more love to it. I love people that want to just add love to my life. But if they love me, then they understand I exist perfectly as I am, that they can never understand. I can never understand what it's like to be a fish. But I sure know what it feels like to not have any pollution in the water I'm swimming in. I can get down with the fish's mindset on just like a fucking whatever level. I can understand that. I can keep the rivers clean so the fish can just be perfect fish. And I think humans are the same thing. The exact same thing. We're all just fish swimming. Not one of us can be another fish. But we can definitely agree that the water's polluted and we're having trouble breathing and certain shrimp taste bad. And we can do all those things. But it's silly to give a fish advice. It's silly to tell a fish not to exist as it already is, perfectly in all its flaws and failures and perfections. If you don't have self-love that you're overflowing from, if you're not coming into a situation with love, you're a parent. Even if you don't think so, even if you think your mask is on and you're doing really good, the second you open your mouth, the words that you use determine what you create in the universe, period. And I don't know about everybody else, but I can sure tell. Someone starts giving me advice because they think they know better. Let me give you an example. So I'm a festival kid. I'd spent a lot of years out at festivals, right? Yeah. Followed the Grateful Dead around for a little bit, even though Jerry's been dead, music scene. So the reason I explain this to you is working at festivals. You get a free ticket, but you gotta put in a couple of days of work, And I've done it all, except a stagehand. And I got offered to be a stagehand. Oh, that would have been a cool job. You guys have no idea. I'd be on the road right now, but my back can't handle the weight. And when they asked me, I told them, I can't physically do the work to make myself a viable member of your guys' thing. And it's one of the greatest honors to be asked to be a stagehand and start that process. I know where I'd be in 20 years. I couldn't do it. Couldn't physically do the work. But building and tearing down and tickets and you name it, security, oh, I'm great security. I could de-escalate a situation quicker than you could blink. Like you could go from people screaming and yelling to people grumbling and moved on with their time in like 5-10 minutes. I can get it done. I don't care how crazy it is. Even if I gotta knock somebody out, which doesn't happen. I've never had to hit somebody in security. Isn't that crazy? Never. And I'm a little guy. I know I'm getting sidetracked, but I went to this event recently. Shouldn't even have went, but I'm glad I did. Because it's about how you react to things, not how people treat you. So I still had an amazing time, just on a different level than all those people did. The point I'm making is this guy who's the leader of the camp, right? And he's like 75 years old, retired policeman. Don't ask me why I was in the camp of the cop. It was the fucking craziest random question. Anyway, so this guy sets up, tents and tarps and, the things. You got to make your coverings. And they had it all figured out. Everybody does it his way, and I just showed up. And I was like, well, we could just do this real quick and set all this up. Yeah, we do it this way. I go, so it's windy. We're dealing with the wind. We're dealing with the fucking storm. And this guy is trying to make us like, I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know if he's just an asshole or what. That's fine. But the sides on a carport, right? Let me explain. Instead of trying to hang one up and go along and hold it up in the wind and hang them and then strap them to the things, you strap the first four to the first wall, you go to the second wall, strap it, go to the third wall, strap it, and then you strap the top. That's how you do it, so it doesn't bother you. So it's 1,000 times easier. You're not holding up heavy canvases. This guy's being a dick, and he was trying to tell us how to do it. So I just did a whole wall by myself and put the whole side of the structure up by myself. Well, 5 of them were struggling with the other side. I was tired of watching it. And this guy got offended. Oh, he was pissed off. And I didn't give him advice because he wasn't going to listen to me. So I just left some information out there for him to see. He rode my ass the rest of the party, and it was fine. Because he needed in his ego to be right. And he was acting insane. He wasn't right. And it was just a basic mechanical thing. If someone mechanically can't take instruction, they sure the fuck are not worthy to give you advice. If they can't think, if they can't take in information and they can only give it out, that's the worst kind of advice giver, in my opinion. That's the person you shouldn't listen to for any reason, because they are so closed down, or they're already so holy, that they already have the answers for you, even if they just met you. This is an example of what I mean. It's really easy from my point of view, as soon as somebody opens their mouth, to understand that the way that they're delivering their words and the intent, even if they don't understand it, is very easy to understand based on this system. Are they trying to give me advice? If they are, fuck. I need to watch this person and see what the fuck they're real. What time are they on? Are these people just trying to build me up and give me information and let me do what I want with it? I never waste time or thought processes or reflection on this group of people. You already know better than me. There's nothing for me to say. Just nod and go on about my way. I don't know what else to tell you. If you're like this, I'm probably going to treasure the fuck out of you because you're giving me information. And maybe I had some of it. So then I add into what you said. And you like that. So then you add back in. You see how that grows? But the second you go over here and you know what's best, shut the fuck up. Go sit down. If you knew it was best, the whole world would be emulating you and all our houses would look like yours. And all our bank accounts would have the same amount of money. Huh? I mean, if we need to just get right in the face of some bullshit, if you're going to give me advice because you think you know what's best for my life, I promise you ain't never rode this ride. You could not ride this ride. I would not recommend this ride. So many people have been decapitated riding this ride. Don't do it. Don't do it. And if you have rode the same ride that I rode and went through the same scenarios and the same kind of traumas and the same kind of hurts, I bet you reached totally different conclusions based on your own thought process. Even if we reached the same agreement that this concept or this idea or whatever else, we're in agreement that that's good or bad, good or bad. How you reach that conclusion, you're the only person that's ever looked through your eyes. You're the only person that saw it that way. So I don't give people advice. That's why every video I double down, triple down, argue with me, show me your side of it. Please bring an educated opinion. Bring your fears. I don't care. Throw them out here. Let's get down. Because if I'm wrong, that's okay. I'm okay with being wrong, completely wrong about a subject or an idea or a concept or math or science. I am fucking okay with it because that means I can learn more about it. It's not a dead subject to me. It hasn't been written off as a bad idea. That's simple to me. And maybe it sounds complex, but it's really simple when you interact with other humans, from my opinion. When I interact with other humans, if they're giving me advice, fuck them. But if they're giving me information to use however I want, it's mine now. It's not theirs. They showed me, and once you show me something, it's mine, and I can do whatever I want with it because it's mine now. And especially if it's a thought or a concept or a state of mind, if I decide I like it, it's fucking mine. I don't even care if you were doing it first. It's mine now, and it can still be yours because I'm not taken from nobody, but it's mine too. I was able to get a whole bunch of really shitty people out of my life who thought they'd pulled the wool over my eyes as to who they were as human beings, never understanding that I could see them. They either just wanted to give me advice or tell me how it is or what I should do, or they wanted to try to leave me in a state of lack. I don't care about money, possessions, gives a shit, but knowledge. People want to withhold knowledge from me. People don't want to tell me the truth. People want to pretend like who they are as a human being isn't who they are as a human being. And I respect somebody who says this is who I am. Maybe it's a shitty person. At least you fucking own it, man. At least you understand where you're at. Even if you don't even want to try to heal it, at least you fucking look in the mirror and go, this is who I am. Fuck it. That's raw. That's beautiful. That is expression in motion. I don't give a fuck that everything you do is evil and terrible. I don't. You're a great reflection for other people of the mindset they must be to be that kind of human being. And most people fail. That's what gang dropouts are and everything else. They thought they could toe the line and they fucking couldn't. I don't care. But I use this idea of advice as another tool to just understand people. I don't want to judge people. I don't care who you are. I only care if you're honest and how you communicate. I really do. And if you communicate, if you're a fucking son of a bitch and you talk all good, I'm gonna punch you in your mouth. I'll know it. I always know it. I can't help it. And I'll verbally slap you first and attempt to start chaos because I know that's who you are. I don't have a problem with it. I love walking around and calling out liars. It's the only thing I get offended about is when someone lies to me. You can rip me off, jump me, fucking shoot at me, try to kill me, fucking do all kinds of fucking shit. But the second you start lying, I'm on that ass. That's where I draw the line. You know? And I'll defend myself. I ain't scared. But I'll let you be the shittiest fucking version of yourself around me until you start lying. And then I'm going to catch you. I'm going to do it intentionally. I'm going to make you look fucking stupid for being a liar. If that's who you were, why didn't you just say that's who you were? Why you got to lie about it? Why you got to make other people fucking fall off their own life path because you're lying to fucking kick it? Don't let people give you advice. Take information wherever you find it, in whatever version you find it. Use it or discard it however you want, especially including this page. But I hope by having this dumb conversation about something you never thought about before, I made you think for 1 millisecond. I wonder if he's right. I wonder if I interact with people and look at the world this way and just categorize it based on how people are talking to me. I wonder if I can see who's fucking shitty in my life. Here's another tool. Do whatever you want with it. But do you have anybody in your life that's giving you advice right now? Are you relying on someone else to heal your hurts and your pains and your sorrow and your anger instead of going within and dealing it with yourself? Is that where you're at? Is some guru or holy person or medium or fucking anything giving you advice and you're expecting only to hear the answer there? Are you really looking for someone else to drive your boat in life? You can almost say if you're seeking advice, you're seeking escapism. Because instead of thinking about and rationally dealing with your own problems, you're choosing to escape an illusionary fantasy world in which you think that someone else will magically give you the answers for your own life when you already know that everything in your life you already created yourself and you have to make decisions to change it. I don't know. I just wanted to tune in and talk about advice this morning. It sure don't seem like the same word it was when we started.